Happy 4th of July. Here I'm gonna make something actually from this old cookbook that started using probably when I was like 7, 8 years old, something like that. It's this old cookbook and I'll show you a little close-up of it. Yeah, so this is like my first cookbook when I was a little kid. I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, making some things. My mom would help me, but I do a lot of it on my own. That's a cookbook. Today, we're going to be making Cinderella Cake. Not the jam frosting. You'll see the recipe for the jam frosting. It's basically raspberry jam and water and confectionery sugar, and it's just sugary and gross and takes away from the cake. But there's the Cinderella Cake that I used to make when I was little mini Erin. Let me see. Oh, yep, I got a photo right there. It's little mini me. I think it was like 6, 7 years old, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, this is my cookbook. Thanks for looking at it. Okay, so as you saw, we're doing the Cinderella Cake. So let's get the ingredients. Okay, so here are the ingredients. We have 1 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of butter, which is half a stick, 2 eggs, 1/2 cup of milk. Now I'm using regular milk. I usually use almond milk in almost everything I do, but I am using regular whole milk in this recipe because that's what I used as a kid. Flour, 1.5 cups flour. 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons, but teaspoons of baking powder. And the last ingredient is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I love the way vanilla extract smells. I really do. All right, so these are all the ingredients. And now from here, it's pretty simple. It's just pretty much mixing everything together and then you're ready to go. It's a pretty simple recipe, especially once the ingredients are out, but we'll do it step by step, mixing things up. Okay, so we have our mixing bowl and we're going to, now it says cream, sugar, and butter in a bowl, which I'm not familiar with that term, but you're just going to mix them together. So what you do is put the sugar in. Now with the butter, you can put it straight into the bowl and mix it and mix it and mix it, and it takes a very long time because it's cold. What I like to do is to actually cut up the butter. So just cut it into just a couple of pieces, nothing huge, just a couple chunks. You don't want it to be completely liquefied, so I do about 30 seconds. Let's see how it comes out after. I'm going to do 20 just to see because it's a little warm in here and this already might be a little bit melted. So we're going to do 20 seconds in the microwave, normally 30 if it's straight out of the fridge, and see how that comes out. All right, so 20 seconds came out pretty well. You can see the consistency of it. It's not completely liquid, but it's pretty close. It's good that I didn't do 30 seconds. That would have been not so good. So we already have the sugar. Oh, you can't even see it because it's white in there, but there's sugar in there. All right, we're going to have to add the butter to the sugar. And you could probably use a whisk or something like that. I'm just using a fork, which is fine. This is not quite coming out all the way. Let me grab my little tool so we can get all of this butter out of here, or at least most of it. All right, that's good. Yeah, pretty much all of it. All right, now we're gonna mix this around into a nice consistency. Let me tell you, when I was younger, a lot of times I used to just use the butter cold and it would take forever to mix it up. It was very not fun. But heating it up, I found that there's no different in the end product. So it's definitely a lot easier to get this all mixed up. All right, I think that's pretty good. Stir a little bit more. Let's see. Consistency kind of, not, almost like a snowball, I guess would be a good description. Okay, so that's that part. Now we're gonna beat the eggs and then add the eggs and the milk. Okay, so now we're going to beat the 2 eggs, mix them up, and then we'll add in the milk, and that'll be the next step. going to use the same fork that I have for the mixing because it's all going in together. Truly, when I used to do this, I actually did a test run and I did it the same way. I try to use, I don't have them in all nice separate containers like here. I try to use the same container just to make it quicker. So I would have the milk in a measuring cup and then add the eggs in the measuring cup and stir it all together. That might not be the best way to do it, but it's efficient. All right, our eggs, speaking of efficient, they are sufficiently beaten. We're going to add in, let's see, the milk. It's going back into our original mixture with the butter and the sugar. Now we have the whole milk and the eggs. All right, mix that up again. Okay, now it's definitely a lot less like snow. It's a lot more liquidy. A little thick, but not too much. All right, and once that is sufficiently mixed up, we'll move on. We're gonna add in the flour and the baking soda next. Okay, so next we are adding the flour and the baking powder. Not soda, I get those confused. And then also the vanilla is the last thing in, so I have that out there too. And that's the final ingredient to add. So let's get the flour in here. I will say it is kind of nice having them in separate containers. Baking powder. We'll mix that up together. Ooh. Okay, and as it starts to come together, you can see it does get somewhat clumpy, so we're gonna mix it until the clumps are gone. Okay, so this is just about there. There's still a little clumpiness, but not too much. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add the vanilla right now, since we have to stir it in anyway. There we go. All right, we'll mix this up in here. Now this is like a basic cake, I believe. You know, basic cake I've always heard is flour, sugar, milk, butter. You know, that's pretty much it. We also have baking powder and vanilla, but this is like a basic cake, but I like it. It's easy and it's nice. Yeah, now, a whisk would probably also be better for mixing this, but I'm just using a fork. I'm going old school, the way I used to make it when I was a little mini Erin. All right, I think that consistency is quite good. Here we go. This is, you know, it is drippy, so you can see kind of the consistency of it, but it does seem to be smooth now. All right, so now we're gonna grease the baking thing, and then we can pour it in. We're almost done. All right, so now we're gonna grease up the brand new baking tray thing that I got. It is Anchor Hawking. I don't know if you could see it. Probably not. It says Anchor Hawking right here. All right, that's fine. Anchor Hawking is glass. They had old commercials on the old radio shows I used to like to listen to, or I do listen to. So it's nice getting something like that. Now, the other half of the stick of butter that's still left over, I am using margarine right now. I used to use butter. I probably should have used butter, but this is what I have, so I try to keep it cool. Unwrap it. Honestly, at this stage, it's probably much easier to just spray it with a butter spray, but this is how I used to do it. So you just take kind of the wrapper down from the butter, and then we're just going to butter the pan. Make sure it's generously covered. All in the corners. Now that could be a problem if it's not in the corners enough. When I did the practice, I did not have the edges done well enough. This is messy. I would definitely recommend using the spray instead of this, because this is just falling out. It's sloppy. My hands are clean. Ugh. Yeah. Maybe it definitely would have been better if it was butter. It might have been a little bit harder. So, Okay, I think it's pretty much covered. I think it's pretty well covered. Now, it's not all the way up to the top, it's just a little bit on the edge, but the cake doesn't go that high up. So that should be high enough. I don't want it to be saturated in butter and have a buttery taste, but so there we go. All right, now we're going to put in the cake mix. Okay, so I'm just going to mix it up again. Oh, I remember I used to love licking the spoon. Can't do that now because of salmonella and the eggs, but that used to be a great fun thing. That's okay. All right, so got my tool. Now putting it into the baking thing. Don't want to just plop it down. We're going to kind of try to move it side to side. Start in the middle. It'll probably even out even if you don't, but I just feel like it's nice to kind of get it even. We're scraping it out here as pouring it, at the same time of pouring it. Get all that. And of course, once it's in there, we can shift it around by moving the baking tin? I don't know. By moving this container around. All right, good enough, good enough. No, I can't do that. Can't do that anymore. All right. So this is what I mean. You can kind of move it around. See, the butter is a little high. This will rise. But yeah, it's pretty much ready to go. Now you don't have to preheat the oven, which is, I think normally with a lot of things you have to preheat the oven. But with this you don't. And we set the temperature to 350. 350, which seems low also, for 45 minutes. So let's get in the oven. All right, here we go, 350. This just seems so low, but it's not. All right, put it right in. All right. And then that'll be done 45 minutes. Now, I forgot to mention the other ingredients because we're going to make a little flag. So we need a couple more things. I should have mentioned these earlier. So we're going to need some whipped cream, some blueberries, and some strawberries. And I'm sure you can guess how we're going to use them for the American flag. The blueberries will be the stars, and the strawberries and the whipped cream will be the stripes. I don't think I can get 13 stripes. I don't think the cake will be big enough. And I don't think we can get 50 stars. I don't think it'll be big enough. But it'll look nice. It'll look nice. So the cake is in here for 45 minutes. We can prepare these now. It's going to be a while because the cake needs to be cooled before. And in fact, if you're going to bring this somewhere, you may want to wait to put the whipped cream on until you're about to present it somewhere, because even when the cake is cool, I waited a whole nother day on the practice cake. Even when the cake is cool, the whipped cream's still just kind of so maybe save that until the end. The blueberries and strawberries will be fine though. We're going to cut these up. We're going to cut the blueberries in half so that way they can stay and not roll around. And the strawberries we're going to cut up into some chunks instead of circles, because then they'd be all different sizes. So we're going to cut up some chunks. So let's do that now, so that by the time the cake is done, we already have this step covered. Okay, so I've already cut some up. Strawberries, I did, let's see, how many did I do so far? I believe 5. 5 strawberries so far. And I did 10 blueberries. I'm going to do 2 more. So I'm going to show you. I'm cutting them in half, like I said, so they don't roll away. Which, by the way, I didn't realize how kind of gross the insides of the blueberry are. To me, it looks so unappealing. The outside of the blueberry looks great, but all right, so there is 11, and here is 12. So we have 12. You can always go back and get more, but I think there should be enough. That'll be 24 stars. So I think that'll work well. We can always add more. Now the strawberries, I'm only going to do 1 more. I'll show you how I've been doing them. So what I'm doing is, oh, it's wet because I just rinsed it. Cutting it in the front. Let me be careful how I'm cutting. Okay, I'm cutting it down the front this way, and then down the front that way. So it's going to make a little X. I'm not going to do it in the air. I'm going to try to be more responsible with my cutting. Okay, so you can see it's kind of like it's almost like those old paper fortune tellers from school. Split into 4 parts. I don't know if you can see that so well. Okay, so it's 4 chunks. It's still attached at the bottom, so we could just hold it and cut it. And this will come into, let's get a better view of this. Here we go. Hold it and then cut it. So when you cut down, it's already cut into chunks. And you don't have to cut it and then cut it again. It's already done. I just find that easier to do because these don't have to be exact. We want them to be little chunks. And then once you get to the end, where it's kind of the stem part, just cut off the red parts that are nice looking. All right, again, because they don't have to be perfect, and there you go. All right, any ones that are big, you can kind of make a little cut there, but should be fine. All right, put it in. And now we can put these in the refrigerator and wait for the cake to be done. But this is this step. Thanks for watching so far. I'm gonna go do a little stuff, and then we will check back in on the cake soon. Okay, so I just took it out of the oven. I am holding the camera manually. I have changed. Andrew's out there listening to shows, playing video games, but I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like. Here is the cake. You can kind of see how high up it is. It's not too high, and the butter's all gone, but it's a nice golden. It's not too big. Nice cake. So we're going to let this cool down and probably have to revisit it tomorrow because it's kind of late. But we'll check back in and add the stuff in tomorrow. Oh, just one more thing. Just wanted to make sure that it is actually done. So this should be able to go in and come out with nothing on it besides steam. That is great. All right, it's done. Check back in tomorrow for the next step. Bye. Hey guys. Okay, so it's the next day and just finished the Yankee and Mets game 2. So I'm just in this room. Sorry, I'm in the other room. So we're just going to quickly put on the blueberries, strawberries, and the whipped cream. So we're going to start at the corner. So remember we have 24 of these blueberries cut in half. So we can put it up there nicely. Let me just get those on there. So we're going 6 across and 4 down to make 24, and that should be a good space. All right, perfect. So here we are. We have our 24 blueberries, and since they are cut in half, they're able to stay on there without rolling. Now we're gonna do the strawberries. Now you might want to wait to add the whipped cream until you get to where you're going. Another thing is, I realize that this cake is a lot nicer when it's warmed up. So it's okay if you want to put it on later, what you want to do, but that's going to be an issue. But so we're going to put the strawberries on first. And the way we're going to do it is just kind of make, since we have them chopped up into little chunks, that way it's not just slices, which would become different sizes. So just put the little chunks going straight across there. And that'll be our first line. I'm going to put some more down and then show you as more. Okay, so we used up all the strawberries. I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripes on there. You can do it however you want. I usually try to do at least 1 stripe on the top and a stripe on the bottom, kind of like the flag. So now you can take it this way if you're going somewhere, and then when you're ready, just add the whipped cream in the lines in between. And there we go. And there we have it. Cinderella cake turned into American flag. And it does taste a little better warmed up, so maybe slice it up and heat it up. But there you go. It's all set. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Oh, I did make 3 mini cakes. I will show you those next, but thank you so much. All right, guys. Have a wonderful 4th of July and have fun. Be safe. Bye. So here is the full cake that I'm turning into 3 mini cakes. You don't have to do it exactly. Just kind of figure out where you're going to slice it. Do a general idea. Pulling it out was a little bit hard. I should have used some more butter. You'll see where it's stuck there, but I did get it out eventually. It wasn't terrible. I'll show you the back side there of the cake. Yeah, see, it still came out all right. Working on the second part. And this, by the way, I know 4th of July is over. You can still use berries and whipped cream. You don't have to put them in the flag. Oh, right there, I'm showing you where I should put more butter because it was stuck there. And putting one on top of the other cake is not the best idea because it left little crumbs, but you can scrape that right off. No big deal. All right, now we're going to add the strawberries and the blueberries and the whipped cream. So since this one is smaller, we're not going to use as many blueberries. I just used 12, half the amount, went 4 by 3. And first I wasn't sure how many stripes I could put on there, so I put the whipped cream and the strawberries at the same time. But you get about 3 stripes, and there you go. There is the flag cake, the little mini flag cake on my nails. That's one, and then you just do the same on the other 2, and that's it. Thanks for watching.